Assalamu alaikum class and a very good morning. How are you all? I hope all of you are doing well by the grace of Almighty Allah. Alhamdulillah, Miss is also doing fine. Class, are you doing your most important thing in your life? You must be wondering, what is that most important thing that Miss is asking about? Well, I'm talking about studying. Are you doing that? If yes, then excellent. Keep up the good work. Students, today in our class, we'll be learning something new and fun. But before starting our class, I want to introduce myself to you. I am your BGST teacher and I am Khadusna Fariha from Sector 4 branch, Uttara Milestone School and College. With this introduction, let's start our class now.
So students, welcome to my class. Today we are going to have our another class on chapter 13, that is Sustainable Development Goals, and today our CW number is 48. I hope you are all prepared to do the class with your pen and paper, and on your copy write the CW number 48 and also give the date. What are our class objectives today? I'm pretty sure by the end of the class, all of you will have a clear idea about the topic, as well as you will able to answer one-word questions regarding the topic that we are going to learn today. Also, all the students will be able to answer any questions related to it. But before I start the class, let me check whether you people have studied properly or not. So, I am going to ask you some quick questions based on previous class from this chapter. Are you ready? Okay, great. Then, tell me, what is the full form of UN? Very good. Then, when did UN establish? Excellent. Next question, what is MDG? Very good. You are right again. Then, when did UN declare MDG? Absolutely right. When did MDG expire? Yes, very good. Now, can you tell me what is SDG? Yes, brilliant. And when will SDG expire? Great job. You are correct. Students, good job. Keep up the good work with your study. Now, let's match your answers with me. Okay. The full form of UN is United Nations, and UN was established on 24th October in 1945. The MDG is Millennium Development Goals and it expired on 2015. Then SDG is Sustainable Development Goals and it will expire in 2030. Now, maybe you were thinking, for what things MDG worked? And if it was working, then why did it stop working? Then again, if UN already had goals like MDG, then why did it declare SDG and what are the goals of SDG, right? Don't worry, all of your questions will be answered today. Can you tell me how? Yes, very good. Today we are going to know more about SDG from lesson 2, that is UN approved Sustainable Development Goals. I hope you have kept your book opened in front of you. So let's know what will we learn from today's class. We will learn what are the goals of MDG, why did MDG expire, why has UN started a new mission with SDG, and what are the goals of SDG? So, let's start the class on lesson 2, that is UN approved Sustainable Development Goals. First, we will know how MDG did start its journey.
We know that MDG is Millennium Development Goals. MDG was UN's development program before SDG. UN organized the Millennium Development Summit on September 2000. Please do remember the date, okay? It was September in year of 2000 when UN organized the Millennium Development Summit. In the summit, they started the journey of MDG with 8 goals, and they aimed that these goals will be achieved by the year 2015. That means in 15 years, they will be succeeded to fulfill the 8 goals of MDG. Now, what are the 8 goals? The 8 goals are: remove extreme poverty, achieve universal primary education, promote gender equality and empower women, reduce child mortality, improve maternal health, combat HIV or AIDS, malaria and other diseases. That means prevent HIV or AIDS, malaria and other diseases. Then ensure environmental sustainability and develop a global partnership for development. When the whole world was so focused in achieving the goals set by MDG within 2015, meanwhile the deadline of achieving the MDG got over in 2015. But United Nations had to continue its development program. So United Nations came up with SDG, and in September 2015, United Nations declared SDG the Sustainable Development Goals. Though United Nations declared SDG in September 2015, but SDG has started its journey of development from January 2016 with 17 goals. So don't be confused. I am saying again, though United Nations declared SDG in September 2015, but SDG has started its journey of development from January 2016 with 17 goals. The Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, also known as the Global Goals, were adopted by all United Nations member states to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. That means this journey will end on 31 December in the year of 2030. So, the duration of achieving goals of SDG is again set to 15 years. Memorize the duration. It may come for your MCQ or for short question. Here you can see 17 goals set for SDG. The 17 SDGs are integrated. That means they recognize that action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. Through the pledge and aim to leave no one behind, countries have committed to fast-track progress for those furthest behind first. That is why SDGs are designed to bring the world to several life-changing zeros, including zero poverty, hunger, AIDS, and discrimination against women and girls. Now let's know about the 17 goals more clearly. First, no poverty. That means ending poverty in all forms by 2030. It's an ambitious goal. More than 800 million people around the world still live in poverty. That is about the equivalent of the entire population of Europe living in extreme poverty. Now, countries are trying to end poverty altogether. Second, zero hunger. That means ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture. The world is trying to end hunger and malnutrition once and for all. That means doing things such as promoting sustainable agriculture and supporting small farmers. Imagine a world where everyone has access to sufficient and nutritious food all year round. Together, the countries are now trying to make that a reality by 2030. Then, good health and well-being. That means ensuring healthy life and well-being. Then comes quality education. That means ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education for all that will achieve the goal of universal primary and secondary education, affordable vocational training, access to higher education, and more. Gender equality. That means achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. That means the Sustainable Development Goals aim to build on this achievement to ensure that there is an end to discrimination against women and girls everywhere and they can enjoy equal rights. Clean water and sanitation means ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Everyone on earth should have access to safe and affordable drinking water. That is the goal for 2030. While many people take clean drinking water and sanitation for granted, many others don't. Water scarcity affects more than 40% of people around the world, and that number is projected to go even higher as a result of climate change. So, this goal is adopted in SDG to change the bad future. Then comes ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Then promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. An important part of economic growth is that people have jobs that pay enough to support themselves and their families. But sometimes getting job is not easy. So we can promote policies that encourage entrepreneurship and job creation. We can eradicate forced labor, slavery, and human trafficking. And in the end, we can achieve the goal of decent work for all women and men by 2030. Then, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation, such as bridging the digital divide, promoting sustainable industries, and investing in scientific research and innovation are all important ways to facilitate sustainable development. Then comes reduced inequalities. That means reducing inequality within and among countries. It's an old story. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. The divide has never been starker. The countries around the world can and must adopt policies that create opportunity for everyone regardless of who they are or where they come from. Then, sustainable cities and communities, making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. After that, it comes responsible consumption and production. That means ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. Around the world, some people use a lot of stuff and some people use very little. In fact, a big share of world population is consuming too little to meet even their basic needs. Instead, we can have a world where everybody gets what they need to survive and thrive, and we can consume in a way that preserves our natural resources so that our children can enjoy them, and their children after that. And after that,
climate action. That means taking urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Every country in the world is seeing the drastic effects of climate change, some more than others. On average, the annual losses just from earthquakes, tsunamis, tropical cyclones, and flooding count in the hundreds and billions of dollars. So, in SDG, countries come together to meet the urgent challenge about the climate. Conserve the sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development is another goal for SDG. The Sustainable Development Goals indicate targets for managing and protecting life below water, as more than 3 billion people depend on marine and coastal diversity for their livelihoods, and even people who live nowhere near the ocean cannot live without it. Protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss comes after that. It is also another goal set for the SDG. After the life underwater, here comes the life on the land. United Nations will promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective and accountable inclusive institutions at all levels. And then strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development is also important for SDG as its goal. The Sustainable Development Goals are pretty big to-do list, don't you think? In fact, it is so big you may just want to throw your hands up in the air and say, forget it, it can be done. Why even try? But we have got a lot going for us. The world is more interconnected today than even before, thanks to the internet, travel, and global institutions. There is a growing consensus about the need to work together to stop climate change, and the Sustainable Development Goals are no small matter either. 193 countries agreed on these goals. Pretty incredible, isn't it? 193 countries agreeing on anything. The final goal lays out a way for nations to work together to achieve all the other goals. Now the question is, what is Bangladesh doing in achieving SDG? Good for us that Bangladesh has earned reputations in achieving MDG that ended in 2015. Now, the country has been working for attaining Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Now, after lesson 2, let's solve book exercise and creative question. The question is, how many years have been fixed for achieving SDG? I believe that you know the answers even before the options are given. So, let's see what are the options. The options are given like 8, 15, 17 and 24. So, the answer will be 15 years have been fixed for achieving SDG. Here, the option B has the correct answer. So, it will be the correct answer. Now, for the second question, you have to read the following stem and you have to answer the questions number 2 and 3. I hope you have kept open your book in front of you. So, for the stem, you have to follow the book and read the stem. Well, let's read the stem then. Mr. Morshad covered the 7-story building of his garments factory with green creepers and herbs to keep it cool instead of using electric fans and air conditioners. Besides, he made arrangements for power supply to run machines by setting up a solar panel on the rooftop at low cost. He is very popular in his locality as he has employed some untrained people as laborers other than his relatives. So, based on this theme, we have second question. That is, what type of factory does Mr. Murshid belong to? The options are given like handicrafts, environmental friendly, modern and technology friendly, and high trade. The answer will be environmental friendly. Read the stem carefully. We can see that Mr. Murshid has used green creepers and herbs to keep cool the building instead of using air conditioners, as yes, air conditioners are harmful to our environment. Then he also used solar panel instead of generators, right? So that is why B will be the correct answer here. Now the question number 3. It is a multiple choice question. Let's read the question. The factory of Mr. Murshid 1. Helps safeguarding environment, 2. Contributes to sustainable development, and 3. Uses renewable energy appropriately. As you can see, already the answer is given. And all the three options are correct. That is why D will be the correct answer that has all the three options here. Because you have seen Mr. Murshid used green creepers and solar panel that is helping the environment and keeps it safe. He is also helping in sustainable development as he has given job to people who are untrained, and he is using renewable energy. How? Can you tell me? Yes, very good. He is using sunlight for solar panel, which is renewable energy. So that is why the answer D will be the correct answer as it has the all three options. After solving MCQ, let's solve the creative question now. For solving the creative question, let's start the STEM first. A deep tube well has been installed at Tania's school. All the children of the school now drink safe water from the tube well. They also take nutritious tiffin prepared in the school canteen. The school was constructed a new sanitary toilet that they all use. They drop waste in the bin kept in the corridor of the school. The classrooms and the other places of the school are tidy. It minimizes absence caused by illness and maximizes learner motivation. So, we can see with the deep tube well, Tanya and the students are now having clean water, right? Then, nutritious tiffin prepared in the school canteen, which is helping them not to stay hungry. So, there is no hunger problem in her school, right? And we can also see they are having good environment and good education. So, do you find similarities of Tanya's school with something? Right. It has similarities with the goals of SDG. I'm discussing this theme clearly first, as for you as well, it is very important to understand this theme clearly. Once you can understand what is in this theme, you can easily guess the questions and the answers of it. Now let's see the questions. The questions are, where do we get elements of our living from? The second question is, explain why our earth is changing. Then, explain what goal of sustainable development has been achieved by Tania's school. Now, evaluate this statement. School activities can accelerate the rate of achieving SDG goals. Question number 1. Where do we get elements of our living from? This is a knowledge-based question. You will find the answer of knowledge-based question directly in your book. So, here the answer is. We get elements from the nature of this earth. See the lesson 1. The answer of this question is directly given in your lesson 1 of your chapter 13.
Here, the elements mean the essential elements like oxygen, fuel, food, water, land, and shelter. And we get this from the nature of this earth. For answering this type of knowledge-based question, you have to read the book chapter very well and very clearly. Then the second question. Explain why our earth is changing. This question has 2 marks, and for writing the answer, you have to give 2 paras. In first para, you have to give introduction, where you must write knowledge-based information related to the topic. It will ensure 1 mark for your answer. And for the second para, you have to describe the answer clearly. Now, the answer of this question is in the lesson 1 of your book. Open lesson 1 right away. For writing the answer, you can start with, we live in a planet called Earth. We get essential elements like oxygen, fuel, food, water, land, and shelter from the nature of this earth. We also enjoy shades of the trees and beautiful weather of the earth. By saying this, you can write the introduction of the question, and in the introduction you have already given so many knowledge based information to your teacher. So after writing this, you may now start writing the second para, where you have to give the main description for the question. So you can start writing like that. Even though the nature earth is giving us so many gifts, but a close observation shows that our earth is constantly changing ecologically, economically, and socially. And the reason behind these changes are the rise of the world population, human demands, and increasing luxuries. In order to meet the demands, human beings are trying to raise their status as well as income. All these things are at the end of the day changing our planet Earth slowly. So, the lesson 1 is the main answer of this question. Go read your lesson 1 from the chapter 13 and write the answer of this question. Question number C. The question here is, explain what goal of sustainable development has been achieved by Tania's school. This question has 3 marks, and for writing the answer of this question, you have to give 3 paras. In first para, you have to give introduction, where you must write knowledge-based information related to the topic. It will ensure 1 mark for your answer. And give your teacher a clear idea that you have understood the question clearly. For the second para, you have to describe the answer clearly based on the STEM. Your answer should be from the knowledge of your book knowledge. I'm saying clearly to you that you will not find the answer directly in your book for this type of questions. That is why understanding the question clearly is very important. Then, for the third para, write the conclusion. You may direct write the conclusion here, or also you can add information in this para if you want to. Now, the answer. For answering this question in particular, you have to read the goals of SDG clearly. Here you can see I have given you some hints about the answer. You can follow this while writing the answer. For the introduction, you may write how many goals SDG has. That is, Sustainable Development Goals or SDG is a development program of UN that started its journey in 2016 with 17 goals. By writing this, you are giving your teacher clear knowledge-based information regarding the topic. After the introduction, go for the description part, that means the second para. As we have seen in the STEM that Tania's school has similarity with the goals of SDG, right? We have seen the deep tube well is providing Tania and the students are now having clean water, right? This is indicating to 6 number goal of SDG. Open your book and see the 17 goals. What can you see in 6 number goals of SDG? It is ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. That means clean water and sanitation. Then, nutritious tiffin prepared in the school canteen, which is helping them not to stay hungry. So there is no hunger problem in her school. It is the second goal of SDG, that is zero hunger. While you will be writing the answer, don't just write zero hunger. You have to write the goal properly, and that is ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture. Then they are having good environment and good education, which is indicating to 3 and 4 number goals of SDG. They are ensuring good health and well-being, also ensuring quality education. After describing your answer based on the STEM, now you can write the conclusion in third para, such as, from the above, we can say that the mentioned sustainable development goals have been achieved by Tanya's school. That will complete your answer well, and you will cut a good figure in your examination. Now question number D. As you can see, I have provided the STEM at one side of the screen so that you may find it easier to understand the answer of the question D. Let's see the question first. The question here is, evaluate the statement, school activities can accelerate the rate of achieving SDG goals. So, you have to evaluate this particular statement, that is, school activities can accelerate the rate of achieving SDG goals. I'm assured now that all of you will be able to answer this question even if I don't discuss it, right? Well, then again, let's see how to answer the question. This question has 4 marks, and for writing the answer of this question, you have to give 4 paras. In first para, you have to give introduction, where you must write knowledge-based information related to the topic. It will ensure 1 mark for your answer and give your teacher a clear idea that you have understood the question clearly. Same as before. Easy, right? You may also give information about SDG here to write introduction. You just have to be careful that whether you are giving proper information to your teacher or not. For the second para, you have to describe the answer. You have to describe the topic based on your book knowledge, which you have found similar to the STEM. Such as, for this question particular, you can write about the goals of SDG that are similar to the school's activities. For the third para, justify your answer based on the STEM, such as, why do you think the school's activities are helping to increase the rate of achieving SDGs goals? As you have already discussed the goals in second para, now you can write or point out the exact activities that are similar to the SDGs goals. And you can say that by doing this, that means the school activities are eventually helping SDG to achieve its goals. For the fourth para, write the conclusion. That will complete your answer well and you will cut a good figure in your examination. So, for answering this question, you have to read the goals of SDG clearly. Only then you will be able to answer the question like this. After discussing the creative question, now it is time to take your feedback. Let me see whether you have understood it well or not. Okay, now tell me, where do we get elements of our living from? Well, then, what goal of sustainable development has been achieved by Tanya's school? Very good. Students who can answer properly, keep up the good work. For the rest, I have given the answer, so don't worry. But you have to be very attentive in your class from next time. Okay? So, here are the questions for you. For the first question's answer here is, we can get the nature of element from the nature of the earth. and clean water and sanitation, zero hunger, good health, and well-being, quality education is the answer for the second question.
Now it is time to give your homework. For your homework, learn all the answers of the creative question that we discussed today. So students, that's all for today's class. I hope all of you have understood what we have learned in our today's class. But one thing I want to warn you before finishing our class, and that is don't forget to do your homework and don't forget to learn your lesson every day. With this, I'm ending the class. Thank you for staying with me.